Hi, Pat here. I have a Kenwood KR9600 stereo receiver. This thing was built somewhere between 1976 and 1978, and it's rated at 160 watts per channel. This thing weighs 51 pounds. It is a monster of a stereo. One time when I had it, it did power on, it did play. Right now, sometimes I get a relay click, sometimes I don't. And take a little close look at the front panel here. Quite a nice stereo. It's got two loudness settings. Tone controls, got bass, midway, range, and treble. And the mode, reverse, stereo, mono. Spin around, take a look at the back here. Two tape connections, hookups for two turntables, three out and power in, and hookups for 3 sets of speakers. This thing, look how thick the aluminum plate is right there. Here's the top side of the stereo. Got the tuning capacitor there, and the tuning board. This one's supposed to have a great tuner on it. And up here is a voltage regulator. There's two resistors there. They get really hot. So I'm replacing them with this. It'll get mounted on the wall in there. And you see inside there, the amp board down there. Really can't see much of that. And it's the main power input. It's got the 2 bridge rectifiers on it. And all your fuses. And take a look at the back here. There's the equalizer board. It's for your phonograph. Just a switchboard there. This little section here is a amp for your microphone. And down here you got the control board for your tones. There's a couple switches on there. And it's the power supply here. I don't know if you can see, but right down in there, I don't know if that brown is just old glue or leaking caps. And down here, you got the relay board. I started off checking all the voltages along this power supply here. They're all good except for this one right here. Should have been 67 volts, and I was getting maybe 10. So what I did, that's one of the wires there. I disconnected that and basically took the amp boards out of everything. Clip that. Those two there goes for the caps. And I just wanted to see what I would get now. Right now I powered it on. And I'm getting a negative 1.5 volts. So turn it back off. That 67 volts goes through this transistor and this resistor and diode, I believe. So I was planning on replacing that anyway, so I think I'll start by rebuilding this power supply board. It's just something to watch for. So I took these out of the circuit. Still holding 70 volts, it's not draining. It's negative 71 there. This side drained, which I don't understand, but you gotta watch out for that because they'll shock the shit out of you. The fuse that went in right there, when I tested in the board, it tested good. When I took it out, the fuse tested bad. Right now I got my probes clicked on there, and I'm reading about 0.6 ohms. Tells me it's probably short in this circuit. This is a 7 volt AC line. It operates the lights and also operates the relay switch. So somewhere along that line I got a problem. Looking over the stereo, I did find a bad fuse in this. It's a 7 volt AC line fuse. And I got the fuse here in a meter. Look at this, you know, 2.3 point something K, then goes down to 33 ohms. Never seen a fuse do that. Either 0 ohms or it's open load. Kind of strange there. Anyway, that voltage will lead to this power board, and it does supply it to right here. Pin 9 here should be a negative 8.2, and one of the wires here goes to the relay board, and the other wire goes down here to the light switch. My problem is I had 0 volts in pin 9, and when I put my ohm meter to that and ground, it had 0 ohms, so something was pulling that down. And I was chasing this one wire down, and all of a sudden, instead of having 0 ohms going to ground, I had 18 ohms. This here is for the lights. It's on the selector switch. Right now I think it's on AM. Putting FM. I got open load. Probably means a burnt out bulb. Next one I think is pulling 01 or 2, I don't know. I got the 21 ohms. Next one's also photo selection. Got 17 ohms there. And an auxiliary I got 0 ohms. So I don't know if something in there was pulling at the ground or what. But right now I got the caps off, and I was going to replace the caps. I got a few diodes I was going to replace. And right here on this pin here, I should have had 67 volts. I had about 12. So I think that there also has something to do with the circuit that turns this transistor on. Now put the voltage to that pin. So I can get the caps back on. I got placing a few zinger diodes in there. And turn on and see if I got power in that pin. I recapped this relay board, just 2 caps. I replaced that diode just because I had it out to test it, and figured why not put a new one in. And I'll probably go ahead and replace this diode up here. And I recapped the power board here. Replaced the zinger diodes. This one right here was a 35 volt zinger. I tied a 18 volt and 17 volt zinger across it. And this was by the suggestions of the guys in Audiokarma. And it has something to do with the IC chip I'm going to replace in the tuner board. Right now I am getting my 8.2 volts on pin 9. And pin 30 here, where I was basically getting nothing, I'm getting 58 volts now. I should be getting 67, but I still got the wires disconnected from both amp boards, and I may replace that transistor. Right now, I'll power this thing on, and I am getting lights, and my relays do click. And I am getting signal. That's with no antenna. My stereo light comes on there. Tuning meter works. And basically, see, the FM light doesn't work. The AM light works there. Photo 1, photo 2. The auxiliary light doesn't work. And see my speaker light. Speaker 1's there. I got A, B, A plus B, and C. So all those are working. Next step, you shut the power off here. I'm going to go down to this regulator board right here. I'm going to rebuild this. This has a lot to do with the 67 volts, so do that and see what happens next. This is the regulator board. Regulates the 67 volts. And these 2 resistors here, they get really hot. They're 120 ohms and they're in parallel. Guys on Audiokarma suggest this 75 ohm 25 watt resistor, and I'll get mounted up here on the side. I'm going to go ahead and replace these two resistors just because all the heat they've taken, and both these transistors. I got everything off this board, and you can see right there just how black that board got from the heat of those two resistors. So let me start rebuilding this board. I got this regulator board back together. Replaced those two resistors, both these transistors, and this big resistor here. This went from there, would have led to there, so I took the wire off there and I just put it on the other end. I got this board back in, mounted this resistor up here, and on these pins I'm getting all the voltages I should be getting. I got the amp board here loose, so I can start stripping it down and replacing the components. This amp board is quite dirty. I'm just going to spray it down. I use simple green. Scrub it in a little bit. And turn my shop back on. And I'll do that a few times so it comes out nice and pretty. I got the amp board here rebuilt. Replaced all the electrolytic caps. Changed out 6 of the 8 transistors in here. And the stack film capacitor right here is replacing 2 of these low ones. I got the amp boards back in. Let's turn it on. Lights up. I get my click. And it plays. Controls are still real dirty. I start tearing off the front end, start cleaning things up. I got the control board loose here, along with the equalizer board over here, and the switchboard. And what I did was I took a black and white picture of it. Ones I got circling orange, these orange low leakage caps. And I'll start taking the caps out one at a time, marking down what they are. I got the control board here recapped and reinstalled. Clean the volume and balance knobs. Clean these 2 switches. So the speaker switch there. Clean that. Selector switch, I got in there and cleaned that. Switchboard here, I got it recapped. Cleaned all those switches. And this equalizer board, got that recapped. I got the tuner board here recapped. Replaced this op amp with a modern op amp. This op amp is the output to this tuner board. And there are 2 caps here at the output that I eliminated and just put jumper wires across. And the back side here, so the op amp is, I added 2 caps to the power inputs. I got the old filter caps out. They're 80 volts, 10,000 microfarads. And these are my new ones. I put in 100 volts, 10,000 microfarads. And I got the common ground strap across there. Solder lugs under the terminals, give me something to wire it to. And with the filter caps out, to get a better look at this power board here. 2 big bridge rectifiers, 5 fuses in there, and a bunch of caps along the back. And back there These are the inputs and outputs for the two tape connections. And you can actually see the amp board down there. I got the big filter caps installed inside it in. And I tied up all the wires. Take a last look at this thing. There's the relay board. Power supply board. It's the tone board. A switchboard. And one hell of an equalizer board. I got some speakers hooked up, playing a little music through it. It's quite loud. I want to work with these lights. You see, auxiliary light doesn't come on. Phono, phono 1. FM light doesn't come on. AM light does. As long as one of these lights are lit up and I shut it off, the power shuts off. Now if I put it as auxiliary, I turn it off, the sound keeps going. Those lights up here, they're tied into the relay board. And if I change those to LEDs, the relay board will act a little differently. So I'm going to replace all these light bulbs with regular light bulbs. I got all these light bulbs changed out. Well, it wasn't too bad. This pin just slid out. And the wire goes through and down. I just pulled the old one out. Stuck the new one in. And slid the pin back in. I thought about changing these meter bulbs to LEDs. I got an LED in that one. Just a regular light bulb in that one. And I don't like the way it looks. I tried sticking these in there. I think I'll stick with the light bulbs. The other two resistors that was on this regulator board, I took them out. I had some more 25 watt resistors and put them up against this wall. If you look, you can see the burn marks. You see how hot this board's got over the many years of service. So it's running a lot cooler now with these things up here. I got my test equipment hooked up to it. Got my dummy loads back there, a couple voltmeters, and my scope. My dummy loads are only good for 100 watts. The stereo puts out 160, so I can't turn it up all the way. So I'm going to go maybe 26 volts across there. That'll be pushing 90 watts. 27 will be 90 watts. So I don't want to burn things up. And turn it up slowly. Uh, 26 and 27. And I got a good signal on there. Ain't gonna leave it turned up because it'll burn up my dummy loads. I have a square wave running through right now, and this square wave looks good. Play with the tone controls a little bit. It's the bass down, the bass all the way up. Mid-range down, mid-range all the way up. That's treble down, treble all the way up. That's loudness 1, loudness 2. Everything looks good. I'm running a sweep right now, going from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. And everything looks pretty good all the way through. I've got this thing hooked up to some speakers. Got it on FM right now. And this tuner works really good.
Helped to ad nauseum. Yeah. Like literally.
Okay. Got a record playing. a CD playing. And I got tape going. This stereo came out real nice. Nice, powerful, 160 watts. It'll blast you out. And everything is working good. I'd like to thank the guys on Audiokarma.org for all their help and the information they give. And thanks for watching the video.